Hey agents, as you may already know, I'm a huge fan of system corruption. I've played thousands of rounds of Conflict using multiple system builds. I just think it's a really fun, unique playstyle that doesn't rely on using a shield. And when used correctly, it can be extremely strong. In this video, I'm going to show you my newest and probably scariest system corruption build yet. The symmetry and survivability is beyond any of my previous system builds. But before we get to the build, if you've been enjoying my content and haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button to join the Center for the Blind. We just hit 1,000 subscribers and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. But there's still plenty of room here, so come on, join the least clickbaity team in the Division 2. It's free and the perks are endless. So, on to the build. It starts out with 4 pieces of system corruption. Just to review, the 2-piece bonus is 15% armor on kill. Usually, I don't really think much of this, but it can actually come in handy on this build. But we'll go over that a little bit later. The 3-piece bonus is 40% pulse resistance and 40% disrupt resistance. As usual, sucks. The 4-piece is what this set is all about. Your medkit is replaced with an instant use ability that gives you 50% bonus armor plus heals you for 20% regular armor. On top of that, it hides your nameplate so enemies don't know how much armor you have left, and it gives you 1% all weapon damage for every 5% bonus armor you have. Remember, bonus armor is the blue armor, and it can come from any source such as Tardigrade, Vanguard, etc. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how and when to use the system corruption ability, as I have a whole other video on everything system corruption. I'll leave a link in the description. In this build, I'm running the system backpack, so instead of 50% bonus armor, I get 100% bonus armor. Not only is that insane survivability at 2.6 million armor, but it also gives you 20% multiplicative damage. Just remember, it only lasts for 5 seconds, so use it wisely. For my chest piece, I run Intimidate. This is another 35% amplified damage whenever you're within 10 meters and have bonus armor. So that's 55% multiplicative damage when you pop your ability, provided you're close enough. That's a lot of damage. I run Seska as my brand set, as system corruption sorely lacks crit, and the 10% crit chance from Seska is extremely efficient. If I ran Fenris instead, I would need to roll 2 crit damage attributes to crit chance to make up for it. So I'd be losing 24% crit damage. Definitely not worth the 10% assault rifle damage. Next, I've got the Coyote Mask. I really like this mask on any build that doesn't rely on hitting crits like Obliterate or Negotiator's Dilemma. The perks are just too good to pass up. With this build, most of our fighting will be done between 0 to 25 meters, so we'll either be getting 10% crit chance and 10% crit damage at mid-range, or 25% crit damage at close range. Even though we need to be within 10 meters to get Intimidate, I expect to do a lot of combat further than that, so keeping your crit chance around 50% would be beneficial. Another option instead of Coyotes would be Fox's Prayer knee pads, as we don't have any damage to armor on our primary weapon. Speaking of which, we are running the Eagle Bearer on this build. Unfortunately, this gun is still locked behind the raid, but there are still lots of people running the raids, most of who have the Eagle Bearer and are more than happy to share it. To find a group, it's easiest to just go onto the LFG on whatever platform you're on. But I digress. On to the stats. As I mentioned, the Eagle Bearer does not have damage to target out of cover. Instead, it has headshot damage as its attribute, which isn't bad considering the strength of this weapon revolves around headshots. And if you suck at hitting headshots, even more of a reason to go get this gun. Before I got it, I was one of those guys who thought controller players couldn't hit headshots. But this weapon trained me to aim for the head whenever possible. And that's because of its talent, Tenacity, which gives you up to 80% damage resistance for 10 seconds in PvP when you get a headshot kill. This is so fun because basically you get 10 seconds of God mode. Here, I take 3 straight glass cannon mortars to the face and they don't even go down until my tenacity runs out. it's almost comical how much damage you can take when you have tenacity. And that's why the 15% armor on kill has its uses on this build, because 200k armor goes a long way when you have 80% damage resistance. This is incredibly useful if you start a skirmish with a headshot kill, then you can just run into the fight and absorb tons of damage. There is a catch, however. The 80% damage that you negated for those 10 seconds will hit you when tenacity runs out. Getting kills will reduce the damage you take, but even if you don't get any additional kills, being able to stay in the fight while low armor is invaluable to your team, especially if the enemies continue to try and kill you through the damage resistance. A lot of times, I'll die to the tenacity buff, but by the time it hits me, the fight is already over, or I've been able to get into a safe place and my teammates can revive me. The Eagle Bearer adds another layer to this game, aside from the point and shoot, or I should say, pull up your shield, then point and shoot meta. It's also the only assault rifle with a 60 round mag, meaning less reloading and higher damage per second. The recoil on this gun can be a bit tricky, and admittedly, I'm still trying to get used to it myself. Whenever trying to learn a new weapon, I suggest coming into the firing range and unload a mag into the wall so you can actually see the exact recoil pattern. You can see with the Eagle Bearer, it starts by going up and to the left for the first third or so, but then it goes straight up after that. The inconsistency makes it a bit difficult, but it's definitely possible to master. As for skills, I run either the Jammer Pulse if the enemy has a lot of hives or seekers, or a Scanner Pulse if my team doesn't have one. Then I'll run the Booster Hive to cleanse status effects. My specialization is Sharpshooter for the flashbangs. Because of their large radius, they're great for making pushes, and the 15% recoil control, which is very helpful with the Eagle Bearer. Just remember that with System Corruption, you do not get the specialization medkit bonuses. So here are the stats for the build. They may seem underwhelming, but remember, we're getting 55% multiplicative damage and 1.3 million armor from the System Corruption ability and Intimidate. Then, bonuses from the Coyote Mask are not shown here either. So that's the build. I've been having so much fun with this build recently, and it's so rewarding when you get headshot kills and your character glows red. I hope you can have as much fun with this build too. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the thumbs up, and until next video, happy farming, agents.